Time now for the Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
There's a guy that we want to keep a sharp eye on, mostly because we have, as this show has been headquartered and based in Pennsylvania now for a number of years, we continue to keep a sharp eye on one guy that I believe has always had his sights set. I said he's been humming Hail to the Chief since he was in a onesie, and most of Philadelphia media has been cheering him on all the way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue ever since he was a county commissioner. So it is very, very clear. His eyes are set on it. It's very, very clear. Media's eyes are set on Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, becoming the next president of the United States someday. That's all that's what motivates him. That's why he gets out of bed. That's the air he breathes. He wants to be president. So knowing that, even if you're not a Pennsylvanian, you should be very aware of who Josh Shapiro is, because he's coming. Somebody who is very aware of him, works alongside of him. She won statewide office. As Pennsylvania's state treasurer is Stacy Garrity, and she joins us this morning. Miss Garrity, glad to have you. Good morning.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. You're always calling attention to things of import that we ought to know, and you've done that for a good while now, and I was appreciative of what you were letting folks in on here as it relates to Governor Shapiro, because we're keeping a list, because at some point when he decides to hit the national scene, these are things maybe voters around the country should know too.
Yeah, I agree. For example, just recently, the U.S. Open in Oakmont, taxpayer dollars spent, $265,000 on a hospitality suite.
So Pennsylvania taxpayers paid for the governor to go to a hospitality suite at the U.S. Open?
Well, the governor's office had a hospitality suite, so I happened to walk past it. So I stopped and looked in, and it was, employees and lobbyists, and I don't think that's a good use of our taxpayer dollars.
Wow. Yeah. No, I think that's probably safe to say. So what can ultimately be done about it?
Well, we have to call it out. Same thing with the Pocono 400, hospitality, $250,000. And, I live with a NASCAR fan, my husband, and I can tell you that we don't need a hospitality suite because NASCAR fans will drive anywhere to see a NASCAR race.
Meanwhile, I know in places like Pennsylvania, of course, this big, beautiful bill that's in the House now, Ted Cruz got it back in, the opportunity for some, I think, 32 states to participate in school choice, even though Josh Shapiro has pledged school choice opportunities for kids in Pennsylvania, and it hasn't come to fruition yet. He bailed on that because of teachers' union pressure. So that would be meaningful in a state like Pennsylvania, kids getting school choice if this federal bill passes anyway.
Absolutely, Chris. Over 80% of Pennsylvanians support school choice, and Josh Shapiro has had not only one position, not two positions, but three. He was for it, then he was against it, and now he's neutral. And, we spend in the top 20% of all nations in Pennsylvania, and only 50% of our kids, can read and have basic math skills. And, as a state treasurer, I look at things through a return on investment lens, and this is just not a good return on investment.
Talk to me about the state, and again, I know as the treasurer, this may not be directly in your purview, but we know that Pennsylvania also sits on just an abundance of natural gas, and energy extraction industry is huge in Pennsylvania. Is Shapiro a thorn in the side of that, or is he, because you talk about revenue coming into the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, there it is, right?
Yeah, so Chris, just this year, we will spend $3.5 billion more than what we bring in. And when you look at natural gas, we have liquid gold right under our feet. And if we would just unleash it, first of all, it's a matter of national security. And secondly, it would bring tens of thousands of family-sustaining jobs into the Commonwealth and give us a little bit of breathing room, which we desperately need.
We have so many listeners in Pennsylvania, affiliates throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. As Josh Shapiro becomes, and it will just be clear soon, we understand the Democrats are in sort of a tumult right now because progressives are trying to take over their party. And I think it's ultimately why Shapiro didn't want anything to do with that mess called Kamala Harris's campaign. I believe to my dying day that he turned her down, not the other way around. Having said that, he'd like a bite at that presidential apple one of these days. How do you handicap that? And what should the nation know about him, in your view? Again, I understand your office of treasurer. Maybe it's not an overtly political office, but what should people understand about Josh Shapiro? Because he will become a national figure soon for people that don't know who he is.
Well, what people need to understand is that Josh basically doesn't take a position on anything controversial. And in 2 years, the state is going to be totally out of money. So we're going to be out of the rainy day fund. We're going to be out of our surplus just in time for him to run for higher office. And so I think Josh will probably spend the next couple of years suing Donald Trump instead of trying to figure out how to bring revenue into the Commonwealth.
Yeah, you bring that up, too, while we're at it. Why? What is he? I just read that in passing, and I didn't pay it much mind. He's suing Trump over what exactly?
Well, a whole number of things. So I believe the latest is some of the federal cuts. So I know some of the farm things, the farm items, as well as I believe some of the, I think Medicaid will be next.
Well, we will keep a sharp eye on it. Stacy Garrity, Pennsylvania State Treasurer, at PA Treasurer. Thank you for your work. You were one of the successful statewide Republicans. The state of statewide Republicans in Pennsylvania is what? Can it be done? I know, Trump being at the top of the ticket's a big help. Scott Pressler tells us regularly that Pennsylvania is about to flip in terms of registrations. I think it already has. How do you handicap it? What would you tell people running for office in Pennsylvania right now as a Republican?
This big, beautiful bill is a game changer for Americans and Pennsylvanians. And, it's going to allow America to be, as Ronald Reagan used to say, that shining city on a hill. And this is what Americans voted for. This is what they wanted. And this is going to help so many middle-class families. And
so Republicans in your state who are members of Congress would be well advised, in your view, to support it.
Absolutely. If they don't, you know how many jobs could be lost in Pennsylvania? 223,000. The average tax hike would be over $2,500, and 962,000 small businesses would be hurt. So I don't think there's an option. This is what Americans voted for November 5th, and this is how we take our country back.
Stacy Garrity, Pennsylvania's State Treasurer, at PA Treasurer, if you want to follow her on X. Always grateful for your time. Thank you. Happy Independence Day.
Thanks, Chris. Same to you.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel. Stay informed anytime, anywhere with the Salem News Channel and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This has been The Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
It's Chris Stigall, and you're watching The Answer Now TV.